up until the party Congress, we had a number of negative factors weighing on not only the China's economy, but certainly consumer sentiment in China. You had U.S.-China political relations, zero COVID policy, as well as real estate, not just distressed real estate developers, but certainly a decline in real estate prices, something that really we've not ever seen in China. So I think what's key is post-party Congress, we've seen a significant change in these big three. Obviously, U.S.-China political relations, we've seen a huge amount of dialogue and communication pick up. Obviously, zero COVID, we're seeing this vast opening up, backing away. And then we're seeing a lot of policy support on real estate. So I think markets as forward-looking are going to be more focused on what's going to be coming in the future, as opposed to looking at some of the factors that weighed on the sector in the past.
Let's talk about the tech sector. I mean, in the comments last week from the Chinese leadership, they seemed to be suggesting that they're now back into trying to encourage growth in the tech sector, and they're going to be a bit more supportive than they were this year. That's pretty encouraging. But then to put against that is all the stuff we were just talking about, which is the U.S. government's attitude towards China's tech companies and their exports there. How do you think these two are going to balance out against each other?
Well, certainly we're going to see continued restrictions on the export of highly sensitive or critical technologies like semiconductors to China from U.S. companies. At the same time, that's only going to be why China is going to want to focus on developing its own semiconductor industry, but also to make itself more reliant on itself for domestic consumption. That, as the global economy slows, we've seen exports from China slow. And so that only raises why domestic consumption needs to be such an area of focus. And coming out of the CEWC, the China Economic Working Cooperation, you're going to see a lot more policies geared to raising domestic consumption. And I think that's why you've seen the change on the internet companies, that about 25% of all retail sales goes through the companies we hold within KWeb, the Chinese internet companies. And so the government actually needs these internet companies, which explains why we've seen a backing off on some of the regulatory scrutiny we experienced in 2021.